Okay, I am live. I see people are starting to come in. Hey, Jean. How you doing today? Hi, Tammy. Okay, people are coming in. All right, so I've got a fun little, relatively quick project for today. Um, these are the earrings right here. You kind of want to turn around while I'm holding them here. You saw them on the group page, I presume. All right, hi, Mary. Okay, all right, so I'll kind of zoom in on them a little bit. Let me see here. Get this. Oops. All right. Hopefully, I've got this positioned correctly. Hey, Debbie. Okay, so let's see here. I'll grab my little ball here. All right. Get back in the frame. Hopefully. This is a problem for me. I don't always get in the frame quite right. So let's see if we can get that fixed. All right. I think that's probably going to be as good as it gets. Try a little bit more there. Okay, so basically, these are made from commercial washers and a little cutout shape here. This is not a Potter die. I can't tell you who made this. It's not a Dar Shelton die either, but it's a friend of mine who bought it, and she leaves some of her stuff here, so I get to use those things. So, but Potter has one that is almost identical to this, and I think he has two different sizes. If you're interested in this shape, if you have a hydraulic press, not everybody does. So that's basically what I used to make the shape. And for this particular pattern, I used Roberta Peel's impression plate called the Sea of Zen. I really like this pattern a lot. I thought it was kind of a fun looking pattern, and I don't know, it just kind of reminded me of a tribal pattern, but I would suppose it could be a great many things, just based on your imagination. Anyway, so I'm using that as my texture texture on the metal. Um, if you don't have a hydraulic press, in my instructions, I have on the very last page, I just put a drawing of this triangle shape or shield shape, whatever you want to call it. And you can, what I did is I just cut it out. I used a craft knife and I cut the shield shape out, and then I was able to just uh, trace it on the metal. So that's an option. And then you can cut this either with a jeweler saw, or you could use metal shears. So I'll use metal shears today just to show you how quick and easy that is. And I hate sawing, so there's that. But that's an option if you don't have a hydraulic press and pancake dies. All right. And then the other materials are just 24 gauge copper wire, which I just used artistic on a spool, 24 gauge. Make sure that you get bare copper if you're going to be buying wire like this, copper wire, because a lot of artistic wire is coated with something. And if you get what they call natural, the natural has a coating on it. And then when you go to use patina, if you try to dip this in a liver of sulfur, it will not take the liver of sulfur. but the bare copper always will. So just as a little tip, um, you know, always make sure you're using bare copper wire. Okay, and then I've got some size 8/0 seed beads that I'm using, and what else? I've got these jump rings. This was actually chain that I bought, and it's oval, and I really like the oval shape for a lot of my different projects. If you can get a hold of bare copper chain, solid copper chain that has the oval shape that opens up, you know, that's not soldered together, um, it's really a great shape to have. It's also very good for bracelets because it lays a little bit flatter than a round um, jump ring will. But what I did was I bought uh, a spool of this chain, and then I patinaed it all, and um, and then separated all of them. So it was a little bit of work, but it's worth it because now I have a whole jar full of jump rings that are ready to use um, for any project. Okay, so let's see. So that's the jump rings. I'll leave a couple of them out. And then I used a few 4mm copper jump rings to attach these little dangles to, and then I had some 2-inch copper head pins that I used to attach everything. You can make these in silver. I mean, it's just really what you want to do. Okay, so let me get this out of the way. And we'll get started. All right. Hi, Patricia. Hi, Cindy. Hi, Renee. All right. Okay, so let me put these to the side. So I'm going to go ahead and let's see here. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to cut this this shape. I also use a disc cutter or disc punch, whatever, you know, this old Peppy model that I've had for a gazillion years. It still works really well. So I'm going to be using that. Let's see here. And I just have some metal shears that I'm going to use here as well. And if any time you have questions or comments, just go ahead and post them, and I'll get to them just as soon as I can. So I'm just going to, and oh, I'm using 22 gauge metal. You could use 20 gauge if you wanted. You could probably use 24. I guess it all depends on what you have and also how much weight you want on your earrings. Sometimes, well, all the time, I don't like heavy earrings. So I generally try to use the thinnest ones I can. So anyway, you see how easy that's cutting with the metal shears. I traced out the design, you know, from the template that was on the instructions that I'll be posting after the demo. And I didn't put my files on the table, so I'm not going to use this piece for the demo today, but basically that's your shape, and then you would just pound this. It curved just a tiny bit as I was cutting it, so I would just flatten that out with a rawhide hammer. So you could do that, and then with your files, just file everything nice and smooth so there's no sharp edges. Okay. Jan's asking if I put this through the rolling mill, and yes, I did. Yeah, I put this shape. This was the Sea of Zen impression plate from Roberta Peel, and yeah, I pre textured it just to save some time. If you don't have a rolling mill, you could use design stamps, texture hammers, texture stamps, whatever you want to use to decorate your metal. Okay, so once you have your shape, this one I had cut already on with the pancake die, and it's nice and smooth. It's all filed. And the next thing I'm going to do is mark where I want to put my holes in. Carol, you said you didn't get a notification that it was on. I don't know why you did not. I hope other people did. I don't know. Just make sure that you're still checked to get the notifications. Sometimes, I don't know, sometimes things happen, little glitches happen, and maybe you're not getting notified and have to re-click that button to get the notifications. I don't know. Hey, Gwen. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to do is what I did, because I wanted to save some time. What I did was I pre-punched another shield. And this is one that when you use the pancake die, you always have a little tab that you have to get rid of. Looks like I'm frozen. Am I frozen? Oh, Susan, you kill me. All you're seeing is my ass. I guess you're referring to my pins because I am not turned around. Thank you very much. Okay. Um, all right. So on this little practice template that I have, I didn't file off the tab. So that would not normally be on when you cut with the pancake die and you file that off. But for this purpose, I didn't really need to do that. So I determined what size holes I wanted, and I kind of went about it maybe a half-assed way. I don't know. But I knew I wanted these sizes for the holes. I mean, you're kind of limited as to what sizes you're going to be able to use. So I picked out these, and I just kind of drew around them with my Sharpie marker just to get an idea of where I wanted to place the holes. So move the camera. Am I out of sync here? I was trying to keep it where you could see everything, and obviously you can't. What can I do here? Let's try to get this figured out. Raise things up a little bit. Just bear with me. I don't know if that's going to work or not, but I want you to be able to see what I'm doing. Anyway, I just, I don't know, maybe you could use a stamp ink pad, not sure, just to get the ink on it and then decide where you want to put your marks. But what I had done with this was I just took my Sharpie and kind of traced around where I wanted the hole to be. And the reason I'm doing that, which might seem kind of odd, but I'm using the disc punch after the fact, after this is already cut. Okay, so I couldn't find an easier way to do this. If you find one, let me know. But I mean, I thought about, just punching the holes on the sheet before I cut out the shape, but that doesn't work with my particular disc punch because I've got this knob in the way. So I can only get the sheet metal in a certain amount in certain areas, and I can't always turn, you know, it just isn't as easy to use. The newer models are round and they come apart and they're much easier to work with. But this is still working really well, so I'm just using this. But that's my reasoning for doing this the way I'm doing it. So what I would do since I already made a template, I'm just going to use that for the demonstration. And I was a little bit almost to the edge. Well, I was on the edge of these, and I'm going to try to avoid that. But what I'm going to do is take my Sharpie, and I'm going to trace, mark this hole, and this one's good, and this one's good. This one's a little close, so I'm going to move that. I'm just going to make a little dot there. And then, so I'm marking all where I want to punch my disc. All right, so here's the tricky part. I have to put this piece in, and this piece in the middle is right here. And I don't have the freedom to just put this in and have it placed right where I want it to be. So I'm going to use my awl, and I'm going to position that piece. It takes a little bit of fiddle farting around, but I'll get this in here just where I want it after a little bit of struggles, and line it up with the hole that I made or marked. And you know, I know that you can't see this in here, but basically what I'm doing is lining up that hole that I marked. I'm a little bit off. Okay, lining up the hole, the Sharpie mark that I made, so that I can see that when I look down inside, I can see that mark that I made clearly. And then I'm going to take my lubricant here and just lube up my disc a little bit. I mean my punch, and put that in there. And then okay, so then I have my center hole punched right where I wanted it. Okay. So yeah, you know, I mean, there may be easier ways to do this, but my brain only works a certain way. So this is what I kind of came up with. All right, so I'm going to line up for the second hole. Hopefully my head's not in your view. That one was a little easier to see. Put my lube on there. Oh, I cut through the edge. Darn it. I thought I had it positioned right, but I didn't. So we'll start with another disc. Luckily, I have a couple extra made. All right, let's see here. We'll do this again. All right. I have to pay better attention. All right. Okay, we'll try that again. Yeah, I don't think I would do both at the same time, Deborah. I think that that might be a little bit too stressful for the punch. I'm not really sure, but I think so. All right. Because I had so much fun doing this, to show you, I get to do it again. Now, the other ones that I made a couple of pairs of the other ones, and I didn't punch through the edge on either of the pieces. Any of the pieces, I should say. But because I'm on camera, I did. All right. Let's try this again. All right, try this again. Ooh, that was dangerously close, but I made it. I have this down a little bit further on the table when I'm working alone, so I think I can see it a little bit better. Not that I'm trying to make an excuse for my screw up, but I think that it's easier to work with this down a little bit further on the table. Okay, all right. All right, we got that hole punched. I'm going to punch a hanging hole right here. Okay. And the sizes that I'm using are, let's see, what are they? I wrote them down here so I would remember. I am using the 1/4 inch, the 3/16, and the 1/8 size punch. Okay, so that's my hanging hole there. I mean, you can make as many or as few holes as you want. I mean, that's entirely up to you. That's just what I chose to do. Okay. All right. I'm just going to leave it at that. But I actually had one other hole. But I have to punch a hole down here to for my little dangles. So I'm going to use my 1/16 punch. I'm just going to draw a little dot on there where I want to line up on my hole punch and just use the 1/16 size punch. All right, line that up. Okay, and that's real easy to break through on there. There we go. So I've got the little hanging hole for the dangles. Okay, so that is ready. And then, let's see here. I want to take off my marks. I think I have a little steel wool here that I'm going to use. Okay. And then just polish off or rub off those little Sharpie marks that I made on there. Okay. Okay, so the next stage of the game on this piece would be to dap it and just give it a slight curve. And let's see here. I'm going to just take this and that's a little bit too deep of a curve. I'll come down here. Okay, and then just give that a slight curve, or you can give it a little more if you wanted to. All right, so that's easily done. Then it's time for the washer. And let me see here. Okay, the washers, like I said, are just commercially purchased washers. And I want to tell you a little bit about those because when I started buying um, the washers, I was getting them from Harbor Freight, and they were really nice washers. And they were solid copper, and they had nice edges, and I used a lot of them, and I bought them for many years over there. But in recent years, they've cheapened up the washers, at least at Harbor Freight, and they say that they're copper washers, and maybe they are, but they've got other stuff in them. So, and the reason I know that is because when you go to put these in liver of sulfur, the ones that aren't solid copper don't take the patina very well. So if you've had that experience, I'm sure that that's why, because it's a mixed metal. They're probably just copper plated or something, but they still call them copper, but they don't say solid. So I guess maybe, it's buyer beware kind of a thing. But you can make your own if you have the disc punch that does that, or you can probably buy them from a more, well, not, I wouldn't say more reputable, but a jewelry supply house or some place like that that already has them made, and then they're solid copper. So um, anyway, hang on just a minute, okay? Just a minute. Okay, I'm back. Sorry about that. My family's upstairs talking, and all I can do is hear them, and it's distracting me. So I just had to go tell them to move. It's always something. Okay, back to business. All right, Wendy's saying maybe trace the template onto a square piece and then you adjust the holes before you cut the piece out. Maybe so. I guess I just have to play around with them a little bit more to see if I could get a um, better system, to get those fixed. All right, now I have to move the camera around again. All right. Okay, so let me get this out of the way. Come back with this. And now I'm going to get my copper wire out. And I'm going to cut maybe, I don't know, maybe 10 inches or so of wire. All right, so, and I'm going to lay out some seed beads. These are the 8/0 size. These happen to be the Picasso finish of beads. Okay, so I have a little pile of those. And I'm going to take, let me see here. Honest to God, when I get distracted, I can't think straight, and it takes me a while to recover from that. So please bear with me. I get so irritated because they know I'm doing this. Okay. All right. Well, 10 or 12 inches, probably 12-inch length would probably be better to cut um, the 24 gauge wire. So I'm going to go through the washer here. And I'm going to go, I'm passing it through. Once we get started, this will be fine. It's just getting started. All right, leave me a little bit of a tail there. So I'm going to wrap this long wire around and through the jump ring. Okay. So I have, let's see here. I have this tail here, okay? And I want to wrap this tail. I want to incorporate that or catch it on the back of the jump ring, or the washer, I mean, so that it doesn't come apart. So if you can see what I'm doing here, I've kind of taken that tail and just kind of followed it around on the back of the washer. And then I'm going to take the wire again and go through the jump ring. It's kind of like sewing. So I've caught that tail wire underneath there, under the back, in the back. And this is how the front looks. I hope you guys can see it. Thank you, Deborah. I get so aggravated sometimes. It's just so unnecessary, but that's my life. So this is the stuff that saves me here. Okay. All right. So I'm going to just alternate colors, but honestly, you can do whatever you want to do. You can make it all one color. You can make them, alternated, whatever. I did try using a size 6/0 bead, and I didn't think that they laid very nice. So I went back to the 8, and I also tried 11s, and I didn't care for that either. So I'm thinking 8 is the winner. All right, so I'm put on a seed bead, and I'm bringing it down to the front to lay right on top of the washer, and then I'm coming back through the back and pulling the wire. Okay, and so you've also caught the back. And now I'm going to take my next color of seed bead and bring that down, and then come back through. At some point, you might need to use a plier, a flat nose plier, to pull your wire a little bit to make sure that everything stays in place. Kind of squeeze those wires too. Your wire, the working wire, is going to get a little gnarly, but that's okay. You can straighten it out if you want. All right, and pick up the third color and send that down. Make sure that you keep that tail wire tucked behind the washer. Oh, the bead slipped back there. Loosen that up and bring the bead back in front. Easier said than done. Loosen the slack up there a little bit. Okay. And pull that. And you're just going to keep going around like that, with each bead. Once you get past that tail wire, it's a little bit easier to hold on to. And I don't necessarily have to have the entire length of that tail. I can actually snip a little bit of that off because it's not going to go anywhere at this point. All right, so that'll be a little easier. All right. And then just kind of keep these straightened as you go. See, it's working up already nicely. All right. I wish I had a good story to tell you, but I don't. I did do a demo yesterday for Potter USA, which was kind of fun on metal clay. And probably many of you saw that I did that. Um, I didn't realize, and I guess I should have figured, that if you're not a member of the Potter USA group, that you wouldn't have been able to see that video. So I downloaded it to my YouTube channel. So for those of you who aren't members of Potter USA, you can still watch the video if you're interested. But it was kind of fun to do. Oh, I guess we need to get better internet. I don't know what to get, honestly. You know, we just have AT&T Uverse, and with three of us using the internet a lot, it can be a problem sometimes. But sometimes the connection's not all that great. But it may not be that. It may be some other variables. I'm not really sure. But anyway, this is how it's coming along. These wrap up real quick. At least I think it's pretty quick. I cut this wire a little bit too short. I think I did 10 inches and I should have probably done 12. And I think I've got it correct in the handout that will be available in a little while. Oh, brother. Honestly. Okay. It's going to be one of those demos. Okay. All right. All right. So we're coming around here. And I am going to do the beads all the way around as opposed to leaving a space for the jump ring, because these jump rings kind of move around. They don't stay. I tried to make like a designated spot for the jump ring to lay in, but it was kind of futile because they do move around. So I'm going to fill the whole thing up with beads. And that'll be that. As your wire gets shorter, you're going to probably want to use the pliers to hold on to them. All right, so this is my last bead. Okay, I'm coming through here, get back over here in front. Okay, so now for this piece, this tail, I am going to put it underneath, easier said than done usually, underneath the wire in the back. if you don't pull your wire too hard on the end, as you get towards the end of the project, you can slip it underneath these wires in the back, because I haven't found any other way to accomplish this and keep it secure. So I'm using the chain nose pliers to pull that wire through, and that will secure that wire underneath from coming loose. I'm just not getting a good angle here with this camera. I don't have it in the right position. All right, well, I'm under a couple of them. Let's see if I can go a few more without my wire getting overstressed and breaking off. I'm all fumble fingered. Got it through 3. Squeeze my wire together here and grab a hold. I got it. Straighten this out a little bit so I can pull it through. I've got a little kink in the wire, so it doesn't want to go under there. Okay, so I got it through 3 in the back. I could probably go for more, but my wire's looking kind of stressed here, so I'll just leave it at that. If you can, then I would wrap it around. If it's shorter than you want it to go with the tail, then I'm going to snip off this little piece here, and I'm going to just loop it back under that last wire that I pushed the wire through, and give it an extra little assurance of not coming loose. I hope you understand what I'm doing, but I just wrapped it around that last wire. Well, I'm mangling it now. Okay, so I'll just snip that extra wire off and kind of push this down a little bit. Okay, so the beads don't always lay quite right, depending on how much effort you've put into keeping them all straight and the wires straight, but you can fiddle around with this and you can get them to look pretty decent. I think I broke that last bead when I was smashing the wire down. Okay, I did, because it's missing. Oh no, it's not. These just got out of alignment. So for that, you can kind of push these wires around a little bit in the back and straighten those out. Give them the space that they need between the beads. Okay, so there's that. And if they don't line up perfectly, I think that they're probably still going to look okay. Oh, let's see here. I'm going to look at comments here for a while. Okay. Thanks, Wendy. I like these colors together. I think they're kind of fun. And these are the colors that I'm doing on that Kumihimo fusion necklace. they're going to be these colors also, only they're size 11 instead of 8. Um, okay, so that's that. Then I'm going to make the dangles for the bottom. And I've got head pins. You know, I'm kind of a nut sometimes. I bought the solid copper head pins in a bag, just the bare copper, and then I patinaed all of them and cleaned them, and that was a big job. But I'll tell you, I've got a big jar full of them, and I I'm happy now that I did that because it saves me so much time um, when I'm making projects. Now, you could at this point, well, at any point, you could add your patina because you're going to want to patina this piece as well as this. But if your head pins and your jump rings aren't uh, patinaed ahead of time, and I would say most of you probably don't have that, um, then you could do it all together. The patina will not hurt these beads at all. So, you know, you can do that at a later date, or you could do it now, whatever. But I'm going to go ahead and make my little dangles. And I think I put, okay, so I'm just going to mix a green, an ivory, and a blue. And then I'm going to do a blue, an ivory, and a green, just the opposite. And then I'm going to do an ivory, a green, a blue, an ivory, a green, and a blue for the center one. So these on the sides are going to have 3 beads each, and this one's going to have 6 beads each. And again, you do whatever you want to do with them. There's no rule. This is just something that I came up with that I liked. So I just thought I would share that with you. So then you're going to wire wrap your loops. And if you have trouble wire wrapping, the only remedy is to practice, 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 and you will get much better with it in time because it's just a learning by repetition. Snip this off, tuck that little wire tail down. That's 2. This is the 3rd one here. Tuck the little wire down again. And then get my jump rings. And where are they? And the fact that I've already gotten these head pins and large jump rings, or all the jump rings already patinaed, it doesn't matter. I can still dunk them back in the patina and just clean the excess off. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and just assemble it because I'm not going to get up and patina these right now, but you'll get the idea. So I'm going to put one with 3, one with 6, one with 3, and close that. And then I'm going to put another jump ring through that so that they lay right, and grab the dangles and put them through the bottom hole. Close that up. Then I'm going to put this on, this large oval jump ring. I'm sure you could use a round jump ring with it just as well, but since I have these, I use these primarily. And then I will put another one. Make sure you open it wide enough for this piece to go through. And then I will add, let's see here. I will add another 4mm jump ring, only because things have to lay correctly. So sometimes it takes 2 jump rings to make it so that the ear wire fits on it properly. Lays the right way. And there you go. This is a niobium ear wire. I tend to use these a lot with copper because they are hypoallergenic. And when I sell stuff, I want to make sure that that everybody can wear them. So I've never heard anybody being allergic to niobium. So, you know, Suni, I don't know what size this is. I want to say, where's my, let's see here. Let's see here. It's an 11mm jump ring. It's kind of like 11 by 8. So yeah, it's a good size jump ring. But like I said before, I bought a spool of chain, of the oval chain, and I would just pull off a whole bunch of it, uh, run it through the liver of sulfur, and then take them all apart. It's a process. I do that the same with my small jump rings. Um, I know it's crazy, but I'll make a bunch of jump rings, and then I will string all the jump rings, which is actually easier than you might think. And then I'll string it on some really thin copper wire and make a loop out of it, and then I'll uh, patina them, clean them all up, and then I put them in the tumbler. And actually, it's quite simple. So yeah, you don't have to patina these if you don't want to. You can leave it shiny if you like. That's entirely up to you. And the same with the pattern on the front. You can make it whatever you want. But that Sea of Zen pattern just looked a little bit tribal to me. So I just thought that would be kind of a fun name, and that they would look kind of cute. So yeah, actually they don't look bad in shiny copper either. So uh, the link from the niobium earwire, those are made by Tierra Cast. And you might just look on Etsy, because I have an account with the Beadsmith, and they used to carry these, and I could get a bulk pack of like 50. And now, for whatever reason, the Beadsmith has been phasing a lot of the things that I use out, so they're harder to find. Actually, I just opened an account with TierraCast. It wasn't that easy to get an account with them, but they allowed it. But I have to spend $500 a year, and I don't know if I could ever make that quota. But I suppose maybe from time to time, maybe I'll just say, does anybody want like a bag of 20 of this or that from TierraCast? But you'd probably have to take the whole lot. Um, and and then maybe we can still get them for you. But I know there are certain vendors. You'd have to do a search on Etsy, but you're probably going to find them there. Cindy's saying that Rio has them. Okay, that's cool. All right, Debbie says Reactive Metals sells them. I've never looked at Reactive Metals. I need to check them out. Oh, Jennifer says they also sell the wires so you can make your own. That's kind of cool. Let's see. Um, and Jennifer says, let's see, Uncommon Supplies on Etsy. Okay, that's good. Thank you. The jump rings are copper. They're solid copper. And like I was saying, it was a spool of copper wire. It was pretty expensive to get that, I don't know, the 11 millimeter oval jump rings. And I haven't found it for sale since then. Hopefully, uh, hopefully I can still find that because, the ones I have are not going to last forever. So, um, okay, Debbie, I'll check them out, to see. I mean, it's always good to have more uh, suppliers and more resources or sources to find these things because, like I said, the Beadsmith used to carry a lot of the stuff that I um, purchased for years. And for whatever reason, maybe they didn't sell enough to other people. I don't know. But, or maybe they just don't get them anymore. They don't carry a whole lot of TierraCast anymore. So just certain styles that I don't really need or want. So, um, so at any rate, some Google searching might be warranted if you want to find those products. Anyway, that was the project for today. I'm only making the one, and thanks for sticking with me because I get unhinged, when I can't, when I have distractions and stuff. I just I can't keep my focus. I know we've gone through this before. Sometimes when I'm on here, and it makes it really hard for me to focus back on what I'm doing. So I'm a bear of little brain. So anyway, I for those of you who ordered the Kumuhimo kits, I'm still working on those. I was expecting a shipment of stuff in today. It did not come. So hopefully by the end of the week, I will have more of the supplies and I can start sending those out. The other thing is there's a few people who signed up for the Kumihimo Fusion kit, and I just wanted to make sure that before I invoice you for them, that is exactly what you want because uh, that one is not coming with the disc and the cord, and there's something else. But basically, I had set it up so the silver kit, when you buy the silver kit, you would get everything that you need for the silver kit: the disc, the bobbins. Oh yeah, the bobbins you need for the fusion kit. And some people said, well, I already have some of those things, so I just set it up that way. But if you don't have all of the stuff and you need it for the fusion kit, just message me and we'll get that straightened out. Okay. Thanks, Deborah. I try. Some demos go a little more smoothly than others, but you know, hopefully my point still gets across. And if you have any questions or comments or whatever about this, you can always ask me. And I will be posting this in the group and also on my YouTube channel because that is a sure way that you should always be able to access um, the videos. And I don't know if there's anything else, but if there is, I'll I'll put it on the group page. Now, see my camera, I can see on my laptop the screen will flash green for just a nanosecond, and then it goes right back. So I don't know what that's all about. I don't know if that's a weather related thing or what. But at any rate, thanks for watching, for being with me. I always appreciate you guys being here and giving me support. So take care. I'll see you in the group. Bye bye.